Good morning. Maybe not such a good morning for some. What a surprise, this PLTR. I think for many, gapping down as it did, but correction, as we said, pre-market is underway. Oh, by the way, MT Live this week, folks. I'll drop the link in the social media thing and in the room here when Dan starts speaking. So where do we go from here? Well, we look to the left. There's an unfilled gap, and it's almost there. After several days of chopping sideways, where it's like, could this be a sideways correction and higher? Well, to some extent, of course, it's still sideways, but now moving lower more decisively. We're going to get a gap down, which is going to leave on the cues a void up above. So will there be an attempt to fill that gap? We'll see. Possibly turn this into a bottoming tail bar. But at this point, and you can see what's happening here on the 65-minute, it's unlikely that anyone's going to show up aggressively until it gets down here. It would make the most sense. And a lot of downside momentum, usually you get a slowing momentum as it reaches its destination and the distance between the lows as it begins to turn. So that's what we'll be looking for to see, do we get some stabilization now that it's made quite the move here overnight. And yesterday, what a lot of chop that was after the initial move. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Yesterday, I think this 15-minute chart is on the daily. No, it's not. Well, you could see here. It's just slopping back and forth all day long. There's a lot of uncertainty. Everybody waiting for this news. And today we'll see what happens with these elections in the government. But look, as this comes down here, this is where prices should begin to stabilize. And since the trend is up, we'll assume at that point, once we get that stabilization, and we'll see comes later in the week or whether it's next week, we'll just see what patterns form there. And look, as I said already, the trend is up, rising 20, rising 50. The weekly starting to make a turn. It got a little extended, and even in an uptrend, when the prices accelerate like that, most times you're going to get some kind of pullback or sideways chop. And that's what's happening right now. Still, our internals didn't give us any signal one way or another. In the weekend letter, I mentioned that sentiment was getting closer, not there, but getting closer to an extreme that would say, be careful. So after a move like that, traders get more bullish and they start anticipating prices are going to go up. And it could have. So they start buying more call options. It didn't work out this time. Now they're holding, well, whatever they're worth at this point. So S&Ps breaking down under the shelf. It's the shelf that we spoke about in the last couple of days, and we were anticipating this. We didn't know how it would happen, but it just would make sense that prices would correct. And here they have. So this is almost there at the 20 and coming down into minor support. And look, anything's possible. Well, it looks kind of ugly today. Retesting this low a little bit lower. I mean, it could retrace part of this, come up here. It's going to take a little time for it to stabilize, of course. But again, trend is up. We're looking for some kind of reversal to form. And hopefully, right, there's no coal in everybody's stocking and we get that move into the end of the year. I mean, there's been down Novembers at the beginning, but as you get closer to Thanksgiving, I don't remember a time where the market hasn't been bullish around that time and then into the latter part of the year. But I suspect this is just setting that up. Just want to check something else here. All right. I didn't want that to change. I was looking on my other platform. Starting to look at the options. All right, let's look at these others. So the Dow yesterday, we're looking for that to go lower here in the room. and it was just a chop fest all day long. It was just a big mess. And then, after hours, things started coming down. And look at this move. This is what we'd love to see during the trading day rather than overnight, but it is what it is. And so this is already coming down into this minor support. It already touched the 20 MA, so it's led the way down. And historically, that's the one that's going to be starting to stabilize first. And so still, this is only a 15-minute chart. We go back to the 65 and look to the left there, drag this down, and you got a pivot. Nothing of real significance here on the 65-minute chart of support. There's that little shelf, and then, of course, down here, you can see where my cursor is moving, and where it stops, well, somewhere in between here. And usually just drag that up a little bit and then put that on the other charts and put it on all of them so that as it comes down on the smaller time frames, well, you believe me, it's down there. You start getting ready for a turning point on the smaller time frame. So it's a good practice to do. I like these where you can put a band there, give or take, and you're in the area as things are coming down and look a little ugly as you come into that green area on your chart. The expectation is it's going to begin to stabilize down there. And same uptrend, this leading the way down is weaker, and somewhere in that green area in the next couple of days, I would suspect it's going to beginning to make a turn. We always look at the Russell, and that's not looking good, of course. So this breaking down under the moving averages, coming down to what we call major support, the low prior to the higher high, and there's a bunch of them here. So this is a critical level. And of course, we're looking at the futures, but YM will look similar to that, where you've got all of these pivot lows. And you see the weekly chart reversing down. And so this was a lot of expectations for higher prices. It did make a new high when the others didn't. And now it's weak. So, and we look for it to come down to the area where all those pivot lows are, begin to stabilize, and we'll find intraday trades. But as far as swing trades go, there's nothing setting up, and it's going to be, I suspect, a few days before that happens. Oil is breaking down this morning. What was I looking? I was looking at something else that was breaking down. I think it was Bitcoin. So oil is just chopping sideways. Nothing to do there. We'll see if it holds this or not. Here's Bitcoin. That is breaking lower. And 100,000 maybe in the cards. There's a pivot low there. There's congestion there. So again, you do the same thing. Grab I think it's this one, and just put a little area there. Somewhere in there, buyers should show up. And below there, it probably goes into free fall. But, it's got this sideways topping action. And now we need to see it begin to stabilize here if that's gonna happen. And Ethereum, it's breaking lower as well. So all these Bitcoins and coins and so on, they've been getting killed lately. And some of the more speculative ones were like down 40% in a day. I was looking yesterday, but anyway, it's kind of pretty ugly looking. But this correction has been rolling. We looked at a few things yesterday, pre-market, as to the underlying with business services and employment. It's really ugly under the hood. Silver, nothing to do but wait to see if it holds this low. You can see this upside shakeout, which is really nasty because of the size of it. It's not a little shakeout, it's a big one, up and all the way back down again. So again, from this time frame, we need to see whether it's going to stabilize and turn or break down. So a wait and see. Fewer opportunities, but when they come, there'll probably be more than we can handle because that's just the way it is. Sometimes it's feast or famine. Interest rates, kind of just flattish here and inching up a little bit. We spoke about that earlier last week and of course in the letter. But good that they come up a little bit, short term not, but they're putting a little pressure on the markets along as well as some of these earnings. Yeah, I'll just take a peek at see well, I could bring up the dollar, but you see all these currencies, and it's primarily we look at the euro breaking down. It's coming to this pivot, that other pivot, well, somewhere around this pivot and that pivot in the 200 should begin to stabilize. And gold, not too bad. I mean, I've been saying I think it's going to come down lower. Right now, it's just hanging there. So, other than equities, as far as this gold goes, I think, look, after a run like that, buyers are going to show up again. Right now, it's just a wait and see. There'll be buyers down there. So if it begins to hold and flips up, then we have a buy setup. So at the moment, we don't have buy setups on daily charts. Let me look at these gaps, where prices are at. And, similarly, unfilled gap here. That's a bad tick. So now, you've got room up above, room down below. We're not quite in the middle. So, these morning moves have just been incredibly fast. Makes it tough to get on board, but we'll see what happens early on. Right now, it's just chopping around here a little bit. Okay, let's look at SPY. Let me scroll over here. Platform. Give me a second. All right. So SPY is obviously gapping down. There's that unfilled gap, and even further below. So there's the low from pre-market as buyers came in there. Let's see. I think it's got to go down there and fill that gap, but it's got such a large gap now. There will be an attempt some point today to take it higher. Ideally, it goes down here to the no-brainer area where buyers are going to show up more aggressively and we get a turn down there. We shall see. So it's down here. I got to look at that one more time just to line it up. The low is down there, right on top of this pivot, the big nasty day there from the 10th. Oh, right, that was yesterday's strike. Those were yesterday's extremes. So now it's gapping below 6,800 down to here. And I'm just peeking over to my other screen, but I imagine it must be down here, the put strike, I'm guessing. 6670, even better. And the other one, 6850. Of course, it's going to come way down. 50-ish, 50, 55. Okay, let's go with that. So these are good numbers based on support and resistance. So that's right. Oh, again, it's here. 68 will be resistance if it pops back up. You got the 20 MA. You want to take note of that, which is lined up with 67.50-ish. And just you want to have some kind of an alert at 6,700. So the 20 MA is an unfilled gap area. It would be ugly to get down to 6,700, but you want to be aware of the whole number. And getting down there today, where you've got this little poke bar, that's intraday support down below there. So those are the areas we'll be focused on. It set alerts here, and then we watch what the futures are doing for opportunities and the leveraged ETFs. All right, IWM, and then I'll hand it over to Dan, which is up there. So that's gapping down to the 50 MA in that first pivot, and it's led the way down. So I'll be looking to see if this one actually shows some signs of stabilization and a turn, which I'll be looking at all four. Yeah, we'll see how this all unfolds and what happens with eventually PLTR. All yours, Dan.
Good one. Yeah, nice gap down. What we've been waiting for. We have very light inventory. So we'll be looking for this turn to get on board. Put spreads, directionals, buy setups, turns. Yeah, look at this STX. It wasn't earnings, but these things have been on fire. SMH, the call spread idea. And this thing's usually juicy, so it's gapping under here. So let's keep an eye on SMH. 5-minute low or a little bounce. Oracle. Yeah. And it's gapping down $8 though. So since we're getting such a big gap, it's Thomas, it's going to be the issue of what's the premium going to be on the gap down? We have no idea. We have zero idea. Because of option pricing. It's gapping down. So the delta is farther away on calls, but volatility is going to be rising with the gap up in the VIX. We just got to go through the checklist on the patterns. Not crazy about the void on that. It has a lot of speed bumps. So there's no good void there. And I don't have too many alarms going off here. Tags we entered yesterday on the pullback buy setup. It's gapping right to the stop. So we'll move it from 30-minute low. And then rig T is our only open position, a put spread, and it's gapping down also. It's the same 30-minute low. But that whole sector, the quantum computing, was bullish on Friday. And they all gave them up. Let's go right to earnings. I deleted a bunch of them already because there were so many. So any questions, just ask. These are not earnings, but a couple of them watching that have gotten killed lately. SFM is still holding on the 15. 30-minute high. That would be a day trade long. And learn. It's just, not ready. A and B got killed yesterday from buying a company. That's a huge punishment. Ross was relative strength. That's a long idea. So here's earnings now. And Pelletier, anything that runs into earnings, it's just my bias is to fade it after, not before. And I was hoping this was going to gap up $20. And then it'd be a gap and crap. So now it's gapping down here. So that's a very bearish gap, which is going to be a topping tail on the weekly. But the question is, what do I do with it now? The answer is, I don't know. Nothing. Nothing is the answer. You know, it's such a big gap. I don't think we're going to get a good call spread credits. So this was actually a big old bull flag pole if it took out yesterday's high, but now it's an ugly gap to 10. It's damaged. I mean, that's a 20% gap down. That's massive. Hymns. I actually shorted the 37 puts way down here. So I'm bidding 2 pennies to close them. May have to up it. Yeah, I'll just watch it at the open. Maybe I may have, or no, I'm bidding a nickel actually. I'm bidding 2 cents on a different one, on a Pfizer. And this is bearish. Look at the railroad track, 20 and 50. 180 closing breakdown. 30-minute low, short watch, time of AI. Yeah, see, that is a better void. You see that other one you told me? I said it had too many speed bumps. So this one looks like it can go to 15.50, which would be another $1. You just got to watch your entry. This one would be an interesting 1, 2, 3 that sets up. Golf Tango, I had an up alarm, a big old retest pattern. Up at 720 though, so gap's a little big now. My alarm went off earlier at 710. WMB is selling off now. So no pattern. This would, if it opened flat, that's a perfect pattern for a put spread. But I think I looked yesterday, it has no weeklies. Oh, Oscar, I have an alarm at 58.20. You know, I set up a major support in the 200. None of these are tier 1. I haven't found a single tier 1 setup yet. EXAS, gap's too big. Bullish though, all time frames. Watch a pullback. Clorox 113, 30-minute high put spread, but came down kind of ugly. Deleted ring, showing a gap in here. So this is a good pattern for a condor. You'd short out of the money call spread, out of the money put spread. But I'm just talking patterns. You gotta go through the checklist to see if it's a trade or not. All right, this one, 91.50, it's a deeper gap, but on support. I'll put it on the interest list, maybe 30-minute high put spread. They make Cuervo Gold tequila. LSCC had it open flattish. Yesterday's high was bullish. Now it's gapping down. 69. So no pattern. But yeah, if somebody wants to help me watch that SMH call spread, we'll wait 5 minutes. Let spreads tighten up a little bit. NSP is getting whacked. So this is going in my bearish list, but possible excessive. We've got to see where buyers step up. INSP 80 bucks, bullish gap. Put spread idea if there's any premium. SBAC would have been a great put spread candidate. Bullish reversal on support, bottoming pattern, 20 MA flattened out. Problem is there's no weeklies. I already looked. NSA is a very clean CLIMO. When we talk about CLIMOs, it's 5 or more fluid bars. Fluid means relatively equal opens and closes, not gaps, not overlapping bars. And now I have a 2-bar reversal. I have an alarm at 29.30. Can't tell where it's opening. HLIT, it's bullish, daily, weekly, monthly, 30-minute high is an idea on that. Put that in the window. Sterl 408. Bullish. Need a pullback. Sanmina. Bullish pattern. Now, I always like giving you if thens just to show you what a tier one gap would be. Let's say it opens somewhere between 143 and 145. So it's not excessive. Then you got to avoid all the way up to 150, 155, but it's gapping to 152. So the gap's excessive and ruined my setup. Nature's, this is another one I'm going to put in the list of getting whacked. We'll see what it looks like in a half hour. This potential bottoming pattern, but still has a lot of work to do. The reason I say potential, this was an ugly red bar at the low. And now I have another range expansion bar on the increasing volume. So put spread idea, but I have enough to watch. FNV 185, 30-minute low. Looks like a day trade short and call spread. That's Franklin Nevada. So that's gold stocks. There were so many climos in various sectors, the metals, the gold, the critical materials, AI or bubbles everywhere, and quantum computing. And so we nailed a number of them on the turn. 62. It looks lower. Look at these parallel MAs. Parallel 45-degree declining is power downtrend. So that is not a quality gap and snap. All right, UMH. Now this is a better bottoming pattern than the one I just showed you a minute ago, because this one held the prior low. 20 MA is flat. It got deeper into resistance. I think I have an alarm at 1475 just because I can't tell where it's opening. Or bullish, made a pullback. IIPR, garbage. Helio. It's a sloppier buy setup, but strong. Bullish weekly, monthly. Let's put that on the list. Helio shows a gap and down. So I'm going to set an alarm at, wow, it shows a gap and down. If it is gapping at 53, then all bets are off. But since it's not liquid, I can't tell. So I'll set an alarm at 56. BVX was up, now down. We'll come back to it. So sideways trading range, flat 2050 over yesterday's high. Could be a 2-day swing trade. These are earnings in the morning. Shop 162, nothing to do. Over, getting whacked here, but nothing to do. Well, let's see if buyers step up. I will. And I always, big companies that have a cousin, Home Depot, Lowe's, PepsiCo, over, Lyft. So it's dragging Lyft down a little bit, but this one has earnings tomorrow after the bell. Pfizer was up, now down a little bit. This is the one I sold the 2350 puts way down here. And this one I'm bidding 2 cents to close. There's a 99% confidence I got a nice open gain despite the gap, because I still have $1 cushion. That spot, that's bearish. That's a call spread idea, 30-minute low. Red stalled spot. Race. No pattern. Oh, APO was a tier 1. But now the gap's too big. See, before it was gapping to 127. And then it has a big void. So now Look how it kept running, another $6 pre-market. All right, NSA alarm. This is the Clean Climo I mentioned. Alarm just went off. You can, so I don't need APO anymore. I'm gonna put NSA here. WFC alarm. Oh, I did a put spread on this. 2 days ago. I did it on Friday. And I do not have any bells going off, so I'm not filled on my earnings trades yet. But I have an open gain here in WFC. Right. Nothing. ZTS. Look at that pre-market nasty. That's a nasty Climo pre-market, but it's an igniting gap. So maybe day trade. So APO is too big. Still going through earnings here. MPC, that's getting hurt. Young, gap's too big. ADM, yeah, wow. Wow. Alex, that's a bear gap that bullets, but it has no price void. Look at that thing was at $53 pre-market. It's just rallied $7. That's a crazy move. LDOS, nothing. LDOS would have been bullish if it were 1, 2, 3. Now Waters, maybe put spread. Let me see if they have any weeklies at 340. No, they don't have weeklies. All right, this hymns is probably going to be spreading. Wow, it's 11 by 15. All right, I was bidding a nickel, so that's why I'm not getting filled. I'll go ahead and bid 13 midpoint. Still have a nice open gain just to be done with it. All right, out of hymns. Check my Pfizer. I got the 23.5 puts. Wow, they're 10 by 18. That's more than I thought. I have a nice open profit, but I actually thought it'd be bigger profit than that. Well, I'll bid 10. Just this market's weak. Oh, look at that NSA bottom. Oh, my lift. I did a put yesterday as an earnings trade. So now that is a breakout failure. You know how we often have that discussion of what breakout failure means. Oh, I did a $1 wide. Okay, I did the 1817 for 19 cents. I'll hold it for now. 18's way down here and it's an earnings trade. It's against me a little bit, but since it's only $1 wide, I'll sit through it. Oh, my ANET, I forgot about. All right, ANET, I shorted make it puts also. I did the 129s. And I was bidding at 120. What? 129s is showing 75 by 130. That they're not open. ANET is not open, that's the problem. That's BS. That's BS if that quote. Which is ridiculous, it's 9:35. Man, they should have a requirement. Give those jerks 2 minutes to open up. All they do is, they got rules that protect them, called fast markets and things, and then any rule protecting the public is pretty much out the window. All right, I did get filled on something. Let's see what it is. I got filled on my Pfizer. All right, so I'm out of Pfizer, out of PIMS. APO is excessive. Rost, maybe a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that Pfizer's bouncing, so that's what got me out of price improvement.
And take a look at Microsoft. It's premium down at 500, even a little below.
All right. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's a good strike. $497, $492 is 50. Let's do that one. Homer. What? Give me the numbers, Thomas. Yeah, I don't like a directional, but put spread the hundreds. Yeah. Okay. I, I have a pretty good memory, but yeah, I don't remember that one. So Walmart 100s. Yeah, 30 by 36 naked. Yep. All right, VLO alarm. Shoot. It's an early alarm, but it's now not good. But I immediately look up at all my oils and they're all weak. Also gold coming in. And I remember it had that one FNV